Inferring can be a skill that's pretty difficult for struggling readers. I know I have several kids who, when they answer test questions, they'll just kind of look back through the text and try to match words and answer it that way. Well, with inferring, it's not so blatant. And so you're teaching them how to read and draw their own conclusions on a text. So this is a perfect example of this. And I even talk about test questions when I teach this lesson. But this talks about Bessie Coleman and says she was determined to become a pilot. And it says determined to become a pilot. It doesn't say she becomes a pilot explicitly. Following her dream, Coleman applied to many U.S. flight schools, but each school that Coleman applied to rejected her. Coleman eventually decided to train in France, where her gender and race wouldn't keep her from getting into flight school. Coleman studied French, saved the money she earned from her job, and applied to French flight schools. In 1920, she traveled to France and began flying lessons. So it doesn't say specifically that she is African American. It says that she has a different race and that her gender. But we know from background knowledge that before 1920, women probably didn't fly very often. I think of Amelia Earhart. And probably African American women didn't fly very often. Although the text doesn't say it explicitly. So we talk about all the little clues that the text gives us, and we talk about our background knowledge. And so we can infer that Coleman became the first black woman to fly an airplane and the first African American to earn a pilot's license. So it's just using clues from the text, and you have to kind of tell kids that sometimes answers aren't very explicit. They're not going to be very obvious. You have to kind of work through it. So, especially with struggling readers.